Welcome to the Spurs Pursuit. I'm your host Martin Frank, and today it's a first ever podcast on this channel. I'm joined by two lovely hosts, guests in Ediz and Zach. So I'll introduce Ediz first. So Ediz, how are you doing?
I'm good, Martin. How are you?
Perfect. Yes, I'm doing good myself. A shame about the football and how it's going, and the fact that we have to speak in such circumstances. But apart from that, lovely to meet you, and thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, no worries.
And Zach, all the way from India, how are you doing? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Martin.
Sorry,
Hello.
Zach, could
Can you hear me?
No, I couldn't hear you. I couldn't hear you. Could you repeat that one more time, please?
How are you, Martin? I'm fine.
Yes, I'm doing great myself. So let's start right into it, shall we? So Tottenham Hotspur took on Nottingham Forest in an absolute massive game. It was a 6-pointer, which whatever team would win could put 1 foot into safety. And Tottenham Hotspur had all the support they could ask for. 10,000 fans lining the streets on the high road, greeting the team bus. Ediz, you was at the game yourself, so describe to me the atmosphere before the game. Was it really electric, how everyone said?
Yeah, it was electric before the start. The fans turned up early. It was a good atmosphere. We did our part. The players needed to do their part. After what happened against Atletico Madrid and Liverpool, 2 good results.
Yes, so it looked like we were turning a corner, right? It felt like it maybe around the stadium that there was a sort of buzz around it. And was you expecting before the game that, you know, the players would turn up the same way the fans did?
Yeah, I think the players would turn up on that day, but obviously we don't know what Tottenham's going to turn up, so...
Exactly. We'll get into that in a minute. So thank you, Ediz. Thank you for your response. Now, Zach, so the lineup came out 1 hour and 15 minutes before kickoff. So the lineup was Vicario in goal. It was a 4-4-2 system where most of us were speculating whether that was a 3-4-3 or a 4-4-2. It ended up being a 4-4-2. Vicario in goal. The back four of Jed Spence, Christian Romero, Mickey van der Ven, and Kevin Danso in the back line. Ahead of them, it was Pedro Porro at right wing, which maybe surprised many. Archie Gray and Papsar kept their spots in the middle, with Matisse Tell being a surprise starting ahead of Xavi Simons, and the front duo of Richarlison and Dominic Solanke. So, Zach, did that lineup surprise you, or was you expecting it?
Yeah, perhaps I think so. I'm not surprised with that lineup, but I think so. Tudor wanted to rest players, even though Xavi did play well in the Champions League. So I think so. He tried to rest some players on that day, and also, we saw how Archie Gray also was wandering the ground. He was injured because he played so well last time. I'm not sure about the lineup, but the playing style, I just don't get it on that day. It's quite different. It's quite different that day. It was different with Atletico Madrid. How they play with Atletico, it was so nice to see it. I mean, I see the confidence there. But according with Nottingham Forest game, I don't think so. There might be some chance that we can turn this around with Kudus be available after international break in the attacking. So, yeah, I think so. Yeah, we might turn this around.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you. So maybe that surprise was Xavi Simons as well for you. Definitely, like you already touched upon, Atletico Madrid, the players looked brave, the players looked sharp. There was a lot of intensity there, but we didn't see anything like that against Forest. But Eddie's coming on to you. So half-time whistle blows. We're 1-0 down. After, let's keep it real. It was in a sense a positive performance in the first half until we conceded that goal. How would you analyse the first half, Eddie's?
Yeah, I think the first half, it was good, but we just needed to take our chances. Obviously, I don't think we had the quality up top compared to all the other teams in the league. So we just needed to take our chances because I think we had only 2 shots on target in the first half.
Yeah.
So we just needed to take our chances. And if we took our chances, the game could have been way different. before Forest scored out nothing from the corner right on half time.
Definitely. I agree with you. I agree. I think there was a massive chance for Matisse Tell hitting the crossbar, but that was already 1-0 down.
Yeah.
Before that, there was a half chance, coming from Danso's long throw of Igor Jesus heading it onto the post.
Hit the bar,
Yeah, hit the bar, and then we had maybe 1 or 2 chances by Richarlison, but it felt very cagey. So let's get into the goal that we conceded, Zach. It sort of came out of nothing. It was Forest's second corner. The first one was already quite dangerous with Vicario tipping it over the bar. And Igor Jesus finds himself at the back post completely unmarked. Jed Spence sort of fell asleep. How do you analyse that goal?
Yeah, I can say it's poor defending. I can't say much about that. I think so. They should check about Igor Jesus right there.
Yeah, it was very poor defending. And going into maybe, half time, we were expecting the team to, maybe try and build on the positive display that we saw in the first 40 minutes, let's say. Was you expecting it to be much more positive in the second half?
Yeah, I was expecting much second half, much better. I think so. I thought so Tudor will turn this around, but yeah, we did concede the 2 goals, and yeah, we started losing hope, and maybe it was all a mistake in the tactics, maybe in the second half. So we should have come back down there.
Yeah, I'll get onto that right now. So Ediz, half time, the second half starts, and we see Destiny Udogie and Lucas Bergvall ready, and we all started to wonder, who's coming off, and it was actually Mickey van der Ven and Jed Spence coming off. And we have to put into context that Lucas Bergvall and Destiny Udogie have played a combined 40 minutes since January. What was you thinking when you saw these 2 players come on and you saw Mickey van der Ven and Jed Spence come off?
Yeah, I think the subs was strange. I would have put in Xavi Simons and Moani on for the second half because we needed goals. We needed to win this important game. Obviously, Udogie and Bergwall looks rusty from their injuries in recent games. So, yeah, it was strange.
Definitely strange. And how would you analyse Bergvall's and Udogie's performance in that second half? Do you think that they added something that we needed?
No, I don't think so, because Udogie was not that great, if I'm being honest. He looks way off it.
Definitely.
He looks way off it because he's had loads of injuries at his time here. So he looked way off it. I think that Van der Ven getting taken off was... I think he's... Tudor's assistant said it was like a tactical decision or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was very strange.
Exactly. Igor Tudor's assistant came out and said, because Mickey Van in the first half, if you remember, he ran down the line and sort of hit the billboards on the side, and it looked like he injured himself. But actually, Bruno Salto claimed that it was a tactical substitution, so there was no injury involved. And it makes you wonder that he's taken off 2 of the fastest players in the team to replace them with, like you already mentioned, Udogie, with his time at Tottenham Hotspur, has been very much injury driven, that he can't really get a run of games in because he always finds himself injured. And you put in this very rusty player into the second half of arguably the most important game of Tottenham Hotspur's modern history. It felt very, very off, definitely. So thank you, Ediz, for that. And we have a new guest joining us, and it's Aryan. So welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. How are you?
Hello. Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're doing very well ourselves, apart from, of course, the footballing aspect. So we'll get right into you, Aryan. So we've currently described the first half. We're currently got onto the substitutions to enter the second half with Destiny Udogie and Lucas Bergvall replacing Jed Spence and Mickey van der Ven. And me and Ediz have sort of confirmed with Zach as well that these substitutions seem to be quite off. heading into the second half. So I'll come into you, Aryan. We were expecting the players to turn up in the second half, to build on the momentum of. There were some positive signs in the first half, but as the game progressed, we saw absolutely nothing from it. So just before Gibbs White put it into the back of net to make it 2-0, what were your thoughts of what you were seeing up until that second goal?
Just before Morgan Gibbs White put it into the goal for the second goal, you could see Romero was really he was just walking around the pitch and he wasn't showing any intent to defend. And everyone was out of the positions and no one was bothered to mark their man or look around if there's someone who's not marked. And it was just they didn't care. It was just they didn't care about the result. And
no, very well, very well. I think Sarr as well was very slow with his tracking back, but you mentioned Romero sort of walking back into that position.
Romero was just walking he did. The amount of space Morgan Gibbs White had in the penalty area was just.
He could have easily taken a touch or two before putting it in the back.
Yeah, it was. I think so. It was the second goal, so that he didn't check Morgan Gibbs White. The second goal.
Yeah,
I mean, Pap Matesa was checking on Igor Jesus, and Romero was just jogging like that, and he didn't check Morgan Gibbs White. So I think so. The second goal was all blame on Romero.
Definitely, and before that goal actually went in, there was Christian Romero sort of playing, sort of right winger, bringing the ball forward. If you remember, where it was at least visible on the cameras that Lucas Bergwall was just sort of standing there. Romero loses the ball, and a few minutes later, it's 2-0. And we speak about leaders. It's been such a common topic this season that we sort of lack leaders. Yeah. And I'll come on to you, Zach, for a second. Do you think Christian Romero is the correct option to be captain of Tottenham Hotspur until the end of the season, let's say, or even this season?
I think he is. He is a great captain for the club, but it's just the mentality is not there. I think so. The mentality is not there. How they played against Atletico Madrid, just like I mentioned in the Champions League, that they played so nice, so well. It was composed better on that day on Christian Romero captain, but only against Forest, it was it's very bad of a performance. But I think so. Christian Romero to be captain until the end of the season, then for me, it's yes. He can't carry on the team. I mean, he still fight for the club.
Yeah, well, I get what you're saying, but it doesn't look like it on the field with his poor decision making. Especially when the game is still kind of tight. Because Tottenham Hotspur, if we exited that game 1-1, it would have been quite positive, I would say. So, Ediz, what about you? Are you of the same opinion of Zach that Christian Romero is worthy of the captain armband?
I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a great leader, but obviously he's not showing it on the pitch with the other players. And I think, as Zach said, the mentality of the other players aren't there because I feel like they're not playing for the badge because we're in a sticky situation right now, and I feel like they've given up in a certain way. So
yeah, I think it's a combination of also maybe some form of anxiety around them because they just can't seem to be able to win a game of Premier League football, and the pressure is maybe so big that they're unable to perform at a high level, and that's maybe causing issues as well. And so, as we've already discussed, Gibbs White's goal, Forest make it 2-0, and it pretty much feels like desperation at Tottenham Hotspur ground, and a lot of fans maybe start to head, out of the stadium because they've seen enough. So, Aryan, I'll come on to you right now. We brought off in the 67th minute Richarlison and Matisse Tell and replaced them with Xavi Simons and Randall Kolo Muani. And I'll mention the first player, Xavi Simons. Do you think it was too late to bring on the player of his caliber after the performance against Atletico Madrid in the 67th minute?
I do believe it was very late. I think they both should have started. They both should have been in the first lineup.
Yeah, in hindsight,
and
Yeah, it should have been the same lineup from Wednesday, right?
same
Like,
Yeah,
to keep the
same
momentum
lineup.
going, and then we
and
would
the
have
thing
actually won the
was,
game.
both goal scorers on Wednesday were taken off from the team. So I don't know what he was thinking from with that perspective, but
Like,
exactly, and Aryan, as you mentioned, they were both taken out of the team, but they were also not brought on for the second half because we made two substitutions in the second half. But it was actually Destiny Dogu and Lucas Bergwell who have played a combined 40 minutes since January. So, Aryan, I'll stick with you for one more question. If we would have stuck to the exact lineup that we had against Atletico Madrid and it didn't go well, do you think we would have maybe been speaking about Dominic Solanke and Richarlison should have been in the team?
yeah, definitely we would have been speaking that Richarlison should have been in the team because he had a great performance at Liverpool. But again, I mean, Richarlison and Solanke both were poor, like against Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, they were very poor. They were also quite isolated, I would say. We failed to find them in...
The thing, we lacked a creator. We have been lacking a creator for a long time. We don't have a proper 10 who can create chances for the team.
No, we don't. And the closest one who comes to a creator right now is arguably Xavi Simons, right?
yeah.
Yes.
And he's been left on the bench. So it's very frustrating. Right, Zach, as I've mentioned, that's 4 substitutions now. We're heading into the final 20 minutes of the game. Potentially a goal could, drift the game and we could potentially equalise. Did you feel there was that sort of intensity and push from the players on the field for the last 20 after going 2-0 down?
Yeah, there was a push from the players. I can see that, but it's just like they just can't score. I mean, on that timing, the players, they give it all, and everything that I see from my perspective, that they try to push for a goal when they're 1-0 behind in the second half. From the start of the second half, they were 1-0 behind. They were pushing for a goal, but things started to fade away when they scored 2 goals, and then Taiwan Awuni scores third. I mean, but for the last 20 minutes, they tried to push for a consolation goal. So I think so. There's still that belief in there from the squad that they can push a goal.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you for your input. Ediz, now on to the already mentioned goal from Zach. 3-0, Taiwo Awonyi makes it, beating Kevin Danso at the back post after a great delivery. Does that goal matter, or was it already capitulation before?
I think it was already game over at 2-0 because obviously I didn't see the third goal because I left in the 81st minute because what's the point? We're not gonna score a goal, are we? We're not gonna take our chances because let's be real, most of these players are not good enough. So we need quality in the squad if we stay up in the Prem. It's just not good enough.
No, I do agree with you. And you've alluded to there is a lack of quality. What players would you put in that category that, potentially are not fit enough to wear the Tottenham Hotspur badge?
So I say Solanke's not good enough. He's only had one good season at Bournemouth, and so I think Solanke, we need better strikers, and even though Tell's been good, we still need that left winger. If we would have gotten a Lookman in January, then it would have changed our season. So look what he's doing now at Atletico. So Lange messed it up. That's what.
Definitely, I agree with most part of what you've mentioned, that we failed to buy good enough in January to get us out of this sticky situation. You mentioned Dominic Solanke. I would maybe disagree with you. I think it's quite critical. I understand completely why you've mentioned that he lacks that quality. That in a sense, he has been Harry Kane's replacement because he has been the most recent number 9 that we have purchased. And he was never going to live up to that expectation of, Harry Kane, what he had set at the club. And he has underperformed, but I would maybe defend him in a sense that he has had a very sticky situation with injuries. And, if you look at the actual service he's getting, it's very poor. It's very poor.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he didn't have any, I don't think he had any injuries at Bournemouth before he came to us.
Yeah, he actually had a record of having no injuries, I think, before he came to us. And then he came to us and immediately became injury prone. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're cursed with injuries right now.
I think we're not only cursed with injuries.
The thing with Solanke is when he had like Madison and Kulusevski with him, he was good. He was scoring goals. He was getting in front of the goal, and he was performing well. But ever since he doesn't have a creator, he's been isolated and lost on the pitch.
Definitely, Aryan, and I will stick with you with this one. Ediz makes some fantastic points, and we can all get behind that. You've already touched upon a creator that we lack that, and it's one of the biggest issues. One player that should be returning from injury after the international break is one of the players we've missed so much, and we haven't actually mentioned together the right wing issue, because left wing, you can actually play Matisse Telder, you can technically play Richarlison there, maybe even Kolo Muani, but that right wing is probably one of the biggest issues that we've had, and we've sold Brennan Johnson, we haven't replaced him, and potentially Mohamed Kudus could be returning for the Sunderland clash after the international break. Do you think that could stir the chances of us surviving in the Premier League for the final 7 games?
Yeah, I do believe, yes. Because the thing is, our defense right now, it's probably the best one we have, like from our team, from our squad. Without any injuries, our defense right now is the strongest we could have. The thing we lack is midfield and attackers, and Kudus could help a lot because we don't have a real right winger right now.
Yes, exactly. And it's kind of ridiculous that we sell Brennan Johnson for 35 million on the 1st of January. The first day the market opens, we sell, at the time, Kudus was still fit, but of course the Tottenham curse comes in and Kudus injures himself 1 week later. But still, it's not a big issue because you still have 3 weeks of the window open to make a purchase. And there was no movement in at all, which is ridiculous to see the position we are in right now. So thank you, Aryan, for your input. Zach, I'll come on to you. The final whistle blows, and there are boos all around the stadium with Nottingham Forest celebrating because they have pretty much put one foot into safety. And we have to put in some context right now. Tottenham Hotspur had 1 day extra rest. Nottingham Forest, the majority of their players actually played extra time in Denmark with 1 game less of rest, including travel into London. Of course, the majority were rested. There were actually 8 senior players rested that started for Nottingham Forest on Sunday. However, they still played 60 minutes, including extra time and penalties. Do you think Tottenham Hotspur players need to have a look at themselves? Because Forest looked much sharper and much more fitter than the Tottenham Hotspur team.
Yeah. I mean, Forest are a better squad. I think so. They don't have a lot of injuries like us this season. If you look at our season, also we have a lot of injury players, and the same players also keep on playing. I mean, they have more rest, of course. There's a gap, rest, extra time that you said that Forest had. But unlike Forest, how they manage it with the time for what they play against Sunday against us at that time, and I think so. It'll be better for us to be more take some time to take rest according to the players of how they play. I mean, if they show their fight like that against Atletico, they should have showed the same fight against Nottingham Forest for just like they did. I mean, the fans were all praising them before the match even started, and I think so. So for and we got more part of it, it's part of this.
I think we might have some slight connection issues. Ediz, did you manage to hear Zach?
No.
No.
Zach, we heard you for the majority part. Just maybe the last two sentences you cut off. So could you maybe just repeat what your main idea was?
I think the last sentence part was talking about, I think so it's of the team management. I don't think so that it was rest days, the days of they have rest and the extra time that Nottingham Forest when I think this is all part of the team management that Tudor's planned.
Very good. Thank you. You've alluded to exactly my next point. So thank you, Zach. We heard you perfectly the second time. So Ediz, coming on to you. Zach has already touched upon it. I also maybe personally feel that Tudor got it completely wrong with both the formation and the substitutions. Not the formation in itself, but the lineup and the substitutions.
Yeah.
And now we actually have to have a proper look at the last 7 games running that we have to save ourselves from relegation. Now, I have to say 2 things before I ask you a question, Ediz. Now, the first one is Tottenham Hotspur, when they kick off at the Stadium of Light against Sunderland, could find themselves 18th because West Ham played 2 days earlier against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And if they manage to beat Wolves, they will get out of relegation zone for maybe more than a week. So there is a big possibility we will find ourselves in the relegation zone come kickoff on the 12th of April at the Stadium of Light. Secondly, Igor Tudor, in the 6 games, that he has been in charge of Premier League fixtures for Tottenham Hotspur, has only been in the lead for 6 minutes, and that was against Crystal Palace. Now, of course, he has been struck with some tragic news of his father passing, so us all on this panel are, sending our condolences to him, and he must be going through such a hard time. There's definitely that case, but Ediz, if you was the sporting director of Tottenham Hotspur right now, would you be thinking of maybe changing manager? Because, you have the opportunity to turn the situation around in the 3 weeks that Tottenham Hotspur do not play now.
Yeah, I think because of the situation Tudor's in, I think he should leave by mutual consent and not get the sack, because obviously his father passed away, I think, yesterday, if I'm correct. So
yeah, I think it was on Sunday.
Sunday, sorry. Yeah, Sunday, yeah. So yeah, I think he might leave by mutual consent. And obviously there's been a lot of talk about De Zerbi in the last few hours. Yeah. So let's see what happens during the international break.
Yeah, Ediz, and you had sent into our group chat that we have the news that Igor Tudor might be leaving, and I'll just read it right now. So it's actually a report by Graham Bailey, who is a very reliable source, who works for Team Talk, and he has mentioned that Igor Tudor is set to leave Tottenham by mutual consent. So that is massive news coming out. Thank you, Ediz. Aryan, I'll come on to you. If this is actual reality and Igor Tudor is set to leave, which is so understandable, I can't even imagine what he's actually going through as a human being, on a human being level. If you are the sporting director, are you looking at maybe attracting a long-term deal like a Roberto De Zerbi, which means Pochettino is out the choice? Or are you looking for a maybe interim choice like a Ryan Mason, who knows the club from the inside, to finish the season? And then
I would choose Ryan Mason over De Zerbi, because we don't know about De Zerbi. Okay, we don't know, he wants the contract for a long time. So if he doesn't work out, you're gonna have to pay huge money to him to get him sacked. And the thing with Ryan Mason, he knows the club from the inside, and he has been with this place, most of this place, because he was, I think he was in Arn's team. He was in Arn's coaching team in last season or season before that.
Mm-hmm.
So he does know most of these players and how he could work with this team. And I do believe if we have to go for an option right now, Ryan Mason is the best one.
Aryan, you mentioned that perfectly. I mirror your words, I really do. Maybe we could also be looking at a Sean Dyche, which doesn't sound attractive. I understand you guys might be like, what? But he's been in this situation on multiple occasions and he's been successful as well. And, you know, maybe that extra motivation of Nottingham Forest sacking him, and he's got extra firepower in his belly to try and get us out of this situation. Aryan has touched upon this very well. Ryan Mason knows the players more than any other manager on the market right now, because he was the assistant coach of Ange Postecoglou, focusing on the attacking side because Matt Wells had the defensive duties responsible. He's not had the most successful spell at West Bromwich Albion. However, since his sacking in January, West Bromwich Albion have failed to win in 12 games in a row. So it's not necessarily his complete fault that they're in the mess that they're in. I will give you one interesting statistic. If Ryan Mason is appointed and if he fails to keep us up, he will be the first manager in history to bring down a team from both the Championship and the Premier League in one season, which is so insane and would be so Spursy if that was to happen. So Zach, on to you. Who would be your ideal candidate to replace Igor Tudor if he is to leave by mutual consent?
Supposedly, for me, from the start, I really admire Harry Redknapp and Ryan Mason along. But I don't think so. I don't think so. Redknapp will be the manager. But I have seen some reports that De Zerbi and Adi Hutter are the two candidates that emerged for the Tottenham job. And for me, I think so. De Zerbi, yeah, it'll be De Zerbi. I think so. I know he's a bit harsh about the situation. His, he's not that a cool temperature guy. And yeah, but he can turn us around just like what he did at Brighton. I mean, he did a fantastic job, Brighton. I mean, I don't want a manager who has an unexperienced Premier League game. So De Zerbi has had an experienced Premier League game under Brighton. So for me, I think De Zerbi is a much better option. I know there are many fans that doesn't want De Zerbi. They want only Pochettino back in the summer. But as for now, we just have to stay up. And I think so De Zerbi is the right call. From what you said, Martin, about Sean Dyche, he's a great coach, but to fight in here in this situation, I don't think so. The players really have that passion to play under Sean Dyche. For me, I can say. But yeah, I think so. De Zerbi can turn this around. Maybe. I would like further De Zerbi.
Really, I would not be against De Zerbi because I do think he's a fantastic coach. There are two issues that our fan base are having with De Zerbi. The first one is his, defense of Mason Greenwood and the situation that was happening with him. Secondly, is he is such a massive hothead, and to think that Marseille actually gave him everything he wanted, and he still wasn't happy. It screams of Antonio Conte, and it screams of this ending in flames. And as Aryan mentioned, Aryan said it perfectly that if he isn't able to rescue us from relegation, this would cost the club so much money more. And that would be a huge issue going into, next season. So there is such a debate to be had. Now, this is my next question. So we've discussed De Zerbi, we've discussed maybe Ryan Mason, Sean Dyche. So back to you, Ediz. Would you have, an interim now and we stay up, but that would mean Mauricio Pochettino takes over in the summer? Yes or no? What would be your take?
To be honest, I think an interim, then if we stay up, and then either Poch or De Zerbi, as they have Premier League experience. Obviously, Poch was with us for like 5 years, but would Poch want to come back with Phoenix still here and they didn't back him? I'm not sure. So I think for an interim manager, I want someone who knows the club inside out and cares about the situation.
I agree with you. I agree that maybe there could be some issues with Pochettino's, entry back into the club with the board and with the situation. But actually, Pochettino has alluded that he wouldn't have the problem. that he is more than willing to come back, and he sees that he actually said that there is a better squad of players now than what he had when he first joined in 2014, which is kind of mind-blowing that he's saying something like this. So, yes, thank you, Ediz. And now, Aryan, on to you. Whoever the next manager is, whether that would be a permanent appointment of Roberto De Zerbi, that I agree with you is a massive risk, or an interim, do you think he can somehow get a tune out of these players that Thomas Frank has failed to do, and Igor Tudor as well?
I'm not sure about Tizerby because I haven't seen a lot of him. But the thing is, if you remember back in 2023 when we sacked Conte and Stellini was our interim manager, he had a huge fight with the Spurs coaching department when he was at Brighton in 2023. And so obviously there's no good relations among Spurs and De Zerbi right now. But if he comes, I will sure hope he does get the best out of the place.
Definitely. Roberto De Zerbi is a fantastic coach. If we take away his personality and we take away, his controversies, what his playing style is perfect for Tottenham Hotspur. And I'm not even over-exaggerating. What he had Marseille playing, what he had Brighton playing, what he had Shakhtar Donetsk playing when he was starting his coaching career is fantastic. He is genuinely a top manager, and it will be shown in recent years that he will get a job at a big club and he will perform very well there, because his tactical ability is absolutely, top level. It's something that Ange Postecoglou would have wanted Tottenham playing. It's Roberto De Zerbi style. So Zach, on to you. Do you see the next manager coming in, getting a tune out of these players and actually finally winning a Premier League game of football this calendar year?
Yeah, manager replacement, I can see this year. I mean, after the international break, so also will be available, like Mohamed Kudus. Yeah, we miss him so much for these past months. Without him, there's no creator also to the wing. I mean, under Thomas Frank last time when he was there, I mean, yeah, we did manage to win some games last year, but only this year after his injury in January, after we sell Brennan Johnson. That's the real problem, that we can't even create a chance from there. I mean, Mohamed Kudus was always a threat near the boxes that he crossed, his skills and everything. And also, it's about the injuries and it's about the manager. And I think so after the international break, if we immediately change manager now and then plan for 3 weeks, gain trust, know the club inside out, for these 3 weeks, and then going to face Sunderland with everyone's back. Some players will be back, and I think so. I can see a win against Sunderland.
Really, this is going to be such a tough fixture against Sunderland at Stadium Light. I think maybe the international break has come at the perfect time, because Sunderland have just beaten their biggest rivals in the Wear Tyne derby in Newcastle in the last minute, and that would have taken momentum into our game. So thankfully, it is the international break. Our players need to switch off mentally, get into a different space. And coming back to you, Ediz, is Zach mentioned a fantastic point with also Mohamed Kudus, but we need to actually take in some context that Kudus is back after a 3-month injury. And this means that he will obviously not be sharp and probably ready to start in the starting 11.
Yeah.
How do you see the game on maybe after the international break and our players having some mental rest as well from it? Do you see us actually realising the situation we're in and being a performance that we hoped would have happened against Forest?
I think the players need a rest. I mean, it's 3-week international break.
Yep.
I think with Kudus back, I don't think he'll go straight in the starting 11, but at least make the bench. So he's gonna be a big game player for us for the rest of the season now, and hopefully keep us up.
Yeah, it's crazy that we have to sort of look at Mohamed Kudus and hope that he's our saviour in this situation. It was actually against Sunderland in January where he last got injured. And since then, Tottenham Hotspur have failed to win a Premier League game. So it does show the importance of Mohamed Kudus, when he does play, when he doesn't play. We are day and night in the creativity that Aryan has touched upon, that Zach has touched upon. So Ediz, one more question for you. Our final...
Sorry, Martin.
Of course.
Yeah, Martin, I just heard the news that Tudor's gone.
Yeah, they
Really?
were saying it in the group chat.
Yeah, they were saying in the group chat he's gone.
It's just a matter of time before they announce it. By mutual consent.
Yeah, by mutual consent. I just saw it.
Yes, it was the article that I was reading about from Graeme Bailey. There is nothing confirmed by other targets, either Fabrizio Romano. So we have to be slightly patient. But Zach has touched upon what we've discussed. I think it does make sense that he will be gone. But at the moment, it's not completely confirmed. It's not completely confirmed. So, but thank you, Zach. Thank you for your input because anything. This is Tottenham Hotspur right now. Anything can be changing. Any minute from now. And Ediz, I wanted to touch upon you. I think we only have 3 more home games left. Brighton, Leeds United, and last game of the season, Everton. However, we only have 2 Premier League wins at home the whole season. We've actually been better away. There was a time in November where we were top of the Premier League or second top in the Premier League in the away form. Do you think the home form or the away form will be more crucial in our survival if we are to survive?
We just need to win as many games as possible to stay up, really. It doesn't matter about the home form or the away form, just win at least a few games, if possible, more to stay up. 'Cause we only got, 7 games left or something like that?
Yep, 7.
7 games left. We just need to win as many more games as possible because in that one, we also got Chelsea away near the end of the season, which we never win there. So it's going to be tough.
Yep, and we've also got Aston Villa away, which both teams are fighting for the Champions League spots. Thank you, Ediz. Aryan, coming on to you. How the same question that I've just asked Ediz, where do you think we'll get better performances and maybe wins or results if we are to stay up, away or at home?
I think away, because our home form has been horrible. I don't think we've won even 3 matches this season at home. So I do believe away is better, but I don't know. Any wins can work at this point.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you, Aryan, because away from home, it feels like the players are able to maybe play with a little bit less anxiety around them, because at home, every home game now feels like a cup final and it feels like it's too big for the players. So Aryan, realistically, if I was to ask you right now, how many games or how many points do you think we can accumulate from the 21 possible?
I do think we could get 9 or 10 points if we feel like we played against Atletico and we get our players back. We could get more, but I do believe we could get 9 or 10 points.
Interesting, 9 or 10 points. And where do you think they come from? If that's a question I can ask you.
Definitely game versus Leeds, the game versus Wolves, and maybe Everton, Brighton, or something like that.
Yeah, and it's lovely to speak to you guys about it in such a positive manner. But actually thinking about the situation that we are in, it is very scary. So Zach, on to you. How many points do you think that we can accumulate until the end of the season?
From my perspective, we had a bad run this year. We're going to April, 3 months without no win, but I expect big wins from April, start of April, with many players returning. So I expect probably how many games are left actually?
7.
7. I think so we can grab at least 12 points, 14 points probably.
Oh, that's a very good shout. So that would mean that we would only lose So if we gained 14 points, or let's say we would gain 15, that would be 5 wins of 7. And Zach, we haven't won in this calendar year yet in the Premier League. And I completely get the positivity, and I hope you are correct, but it feels like it's impossible to win. Ediz, what is your view on this? How many points do you think we can get from 21?
So I'm just looking at the fixtures now. Sunderland's going to be tough. Brighton's going to be tough. They just beat Liverpool. Wolves, we never beat them for some reason. Villa, we do get some good results there, but right now I think a draw will be a decent point. Leeds at home, that's another cup final because they're in a sticky situation as well. Chelsea away, God knows what's going to happen. And Everton at home, all big games. So I'm not really sure how many points we're going to get out of that, to be honest.
Can you even see us getting 1 win?
So the thing is, I have to go. So sorry.
Aryan, no problem. Thank you so much for coming on. You're an absolute legend for coming on. I appreciate it. No worries. Aryan, have a lovely day. And
thank you, guys.
It was lovely to meet you. See you later.
Yeah, thank you. Bye, Ediz. Bye, Zach. Bye, Martin.
Bye. See you later.
Bye, Aryan.
So as I was saying, maybe I think with Kudus back for Sunderland, we might sneak a win. Maybe Leeds and maybe Everton, because I think obviously that's Richie's former team, so he knows about the situation, so he might turn up in that game. So hopefully.
No, you make some fantastic points. I'm also just checking the fixtures, and we play four games of the Premier League in May and just 3 games in April, meaning a lot more players will be back for the final 4 games of the season, including Rodrigo Bentancur. Maybe James Maddison can play a part, including maybe Dejan Kulusevski. And that would be a massive boost. We have to get through somehow Sunderland, try and get a result out of there. Sunderland in their last 3 home games have suffered 3 losses in a row. So it's very good that they're not able to build from the momentum from the Wear-Tyne derby against Newcastle. Brighton at home will be very tricky because, as you've mentioned, they've actually won against Liverpool and they're getting their form back. Since they lost to Liverpool in the FA Cup, they've actually been very, very impressive. And Wolverhampton Wanderers away, we have struggled to beat Wolverhampton Wanderers home or away for the past 3 years. It looks like everything is getting in between us. And thank you, Ediz. So how many points are you saying? Because Zach has said 15. How many are you saying?
I think to keep us up, we need maximum probably 4 or 5 wins and 2 draws, maybe, because we're 1 point below the relegation zone. And by the time West Ham play Wolves, we would be in the relegation zone. So we need to win, I'd say, at least 5 or 4 games and draw 2. So we cannot afford to lose any more games. Otherwise, we're going to get relegated.
That's the thing, though, is that we will lose. There's no chance we're going on a 7-game unbeaten run. We're just simply not, especially with Chelsea and Aston Villa in there. I think we personally need 3 wins and 2 draws. This is what I think. 11 points will get us out of relegation. Because that would mean we would finish the season off with a total points of 41, and that should be enough for safety. It's all about looking at West Ham, Leeds and Nottingham Forest. Are they able to string results as well? Maybe they get some key injuries. Maybe that complicates the situation for them. So it's a lot of things that will be turning and changing. Now, Zach, on to you, and this will be my final question for both of you, is do you think with Ange Postecoglou, sort of forgetting about the Premier League because we were so far off getting relegated last season, focusing on the Europa League, and now this season with Thomas Frank and, the repeated loss after loss from November period, do you think the players have just got so used to losing?
Probably they have lost some hope, of course, after the Europa League final. After the Europa League final, but actually after they heard the news, Ange Postecoglou was sacked, and but everyone says that if Ange leaves, also we will back Ange if we don't want him to leave. And since then, we heard the news that everyone was shocked about how Postecoglou was get sacked, it's such a harsh news to say. A winner, but I think so. This is all the blame goes to the board for what they did to Ange. He should deserve a second chance, and even though the players also calling out the board, just like Christian Romero for what he did, they had some belief at the first 3 games under Thomas Frank, but then from after the Arsenal lost 4-1 at the Emirates, since there I saw that the players doesn't want to play anymore. There's no belief after that Arsenal's 4-1 game last year, and I start thinking, so they can come back, but no, they won't come back from this. It's kind of harsh situation, but like we see Manchester United. We see Manchester United also, like under Ruben Amorim. They haven't won anything last season. No Champions League this year. No Europa League. Only Premier League and FA Cup. Even though they both knock out from the Carabao and FA Cup. Even though they still backed the manager with no trophies last season. Unlike Ange, Tottenham Hotspur, maybe Daniel Levy and Vinay and Lange should give the second chance to Ange Postecoglou the start of the season. From the Super Cup. They should have given a chance. And if he doesn't, and if he keeps losing games, then change should be there. But we should have changed manager since Frank started losing games since January.
Very good. I agree. Ediz, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I think, Frank should have gone ages ago. Probably I say Arsenal or Fulham games. Because Arsenal, we got absolutely battered. Like, the lineup there was no attacking players in that lineup whatsoever. It's like we were trying to defend for a draw. Don't get me wrong, I would have taken a draw any day of the week, but we needed goals in that game. We needed to win that game because it's a North London derby. Like, you would want your team to win that game instead of sit back for 90 minutes. So, Frank should have gone a long time ago, and then we might have been up the table, probably in the top 10 or something. So,
You make a very good point. I'm slightly different with you guys. I thought he should have been gone after the West Ham game. I gave him the benefit of the doubt, which looking back in hindsight, you guys make much more sense because there were... I don't know what positives I was still stringing onto. Maybe I was giving him the benefit of the doubt that the injuries and so. But Zach has alluded to the fantastic point that I want to ask Ediz as well. Was sacking Ange Postecoglou the worst decision that ever happened to this club?
I was... don't get me wrong, I wanted Ange to go because of our league form. Because we were just getting battered every week. We weren't winning games. But then again, he's won our first trophy in how many years?
17 years.
17 years, yeah. So, and he also said on the overlap that he wanted Premier League proven players in his second season. I think he said Semenyo, Guehi, Abramu, all those players. But what did Lange do? He just signed kids and Solanke.
Yeah.
I think Lange has to go in the summer. 'Cause if he stays, then we're just gonna we're screwed. 'Cause he's not a good director of football. I think he was only brought in to probably do the youth or something, but I have no idea.
No, you're right. You're right. He was brought in to be a senior scout, which is where he's earned his money because, even the purchases of Archie Gray, Lucas Bergwall, they're very talented individuals, and Johan Lang brought them in. But he has now been assigned the role of being a sporting director that he has never done it before at a different club. And he's failing to do so because he's not competent enough to do that position. So exactly like you mentioned, Ediz, Johan Lang should go because he is failing in what he should be doing correctly. But at the same time, he has been placed in a position he's never been in. So we have to look at, again, the higher-ups. And I think this is the biggest issue. Do you guys agree with me? I'll start with Zach. Do you agree that the biggest issue of the club is not the players, is not the manager, but we have to look up into higher than the boardroom, the owners?
Yeah, the main issue, of course, that is the main issue. The big problem is all the board. For what they've did in January, for of course, like we see Johan Lange didn't sign any players in January. Yeah, after we saw Brian Johnson, and then a week later, just like you said, Kudus got injured, and then the board should realize that we are lacking in midfield, we are lacking in attack. But I think all the blame goes to the board, and then to the managers. Just like what Antonio Conte said. Remember when he was at Tottenham Hotspur last time? He was Tottenham. So you can change the manager, the players, but the situation at the club won't change. So it's all on the board now.
Yeah.
We're in a situation like this. It's all on the board, I can say. I don't think so the manager's replacement or anything. He should have signed some players, of course.
Definitely. I mean, we did purchase two individuals in the likes of Conor Gallagher and Sousa. But Sousa is a long-term, project. He's not ready for now football. And Conor Gallagher is a player that, first of all, hasn't adapted at all, and he wasn't the position we were looking for. So, Ediz, on to you. Do you agree with what Zach has mentioned, and do you also think that the owners are the biggest issue of the club?
The owners are definitely the biggest issue of the club because they've been here for 25 years and done what exactly? Like, they don't care. Like, I saw this video on X when some of the owners were smiling at halftime. They were laughing. Like, I'm not sure if you guys seen the video.
Yeah.
So they just couldn't care less, to be honest. They just want their money from the Beyonce concerts, the NFL. We're not a football club, we're a business, and we've always been a business for a very long time now. So, yeah.
No, I agree with you. I've seen the videos as well of Vinay Venkatesham and co being called out by some, loyal fans, and there were a lot of smiles and smirks within the VIP section. So there is definitely that conversation to be had, and many have alluded to the fact that Daniel Levy has exited the club and we wouldn't be in this situation that we are in. But, the majority of the players were purchased under Daniel Levy, and the manager decision of bringing in Thomas Frank was placed under Daniel Levy. So we can't turn around and say that Daniel Levy is completely blameless. And it's a situation that it's not just, we can't just look at one thing and say this is his fault. It's a combination of so many factors that have been accumulating for years and years, and now it's reached boiling point where we could actually get relegated into the Championship. Ediz and Zach, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. I'm sure this is not your last appearance to come on. I'll be so privileged to have you on once again in the near future. So thank you so much. So Ediz, starting with you, how did you enjoy the podcast, and would you be interested to come on again in the future?
Yeah, it was a really good podcast, and thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm sure in the future I would like to do more. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ediz. And Zach, also thank you for joining. Just let us know what time do you have right now, and did you enjoy it yourself?
You mean my time zone?
Yes, not just your time zone, but what exact time is it right now for you?
Oh, it's 4:30 now. 4:30 p.m.
4:30. Okay. And whereabouts in India are you?
You mean my state?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm from Meghalaya.
Wow. So like this is the thing with Tottenham Hotspur. That it's such a huge club with fans all over the world. Myself joining from Slovakia, Ediz, being actually at the game, Zach from India. So we can't afford to go down into the championship with a club of the magnitude of Tottenham Hotspur. So guys, thank you so much, and I'm sure you'll be coming on. You're more than invited to come on anytime in the future. Thank you. I think this was a very good debut podcast for this channel, and I wouldn't have had it any better with different hosts, with different guests. So thank you, and I hope everyone enjoyed watching, and see you later.
See.
See ya.